There you go. Speak away. Most likely something got knocked around and it switched to a different microphone input. So you have to manually set it.
Well, it would have been good if you'd have showed me how you just did that so that I could do it if it happens again. But
if it happens again, you go to this. You go to, ready? You go to File, Settings, Audio, and then Microphone. And then you just click on that, you go to the one you want, and you push Apply. Don't forget to take that off there.
I'm about to.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Okay, guys, sorry about the technical difficulties. I was having trouble with my microphone. Somehow it connected to something else. I don't know. Okay, so good morning and welcome back to my stream. Today I have a few things that I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to show you the progress that I've made on the tunic so far. So I have made myself a list. I made this at work. It's on some hospice palliative care notepad that they gave us for free. So on my list of things to do is fix the pants, which I haven't even touched yet because my parents were here all week last week and we were doing stuff for for my son's court of honor. So I've been busy with that all week. They left on Thursday and Friday. I worked on some other stuff. We also had no internet most of the day on Thursday. The power went out on Wednesday night and we had no power for 6 hours. And then when the power did come back on, we had no internet until like halfway through the day the next day. So that was good. That was fun. So I just worked on some other incomplete sewing projects that I will have videos for at some point. I don't know when I'll get to editing because I'm totally con crunching for this because now it is only a few weeks away and I'm kind of freaking out. The cats are going nuts. So on my list of things to do is make the undershirt, which I have not cut that stuff out for, but that will be a relatively quick and easy thing to do. Armbands, boot covers. I have to make the bracer. I have to do all of the braiding, all of the lacing for the tunic, and then make the eyelets on the tunic. So I did start making the eyelets on the tunic the other day while I was sitting in front of the TV watching TV, because that is like the easiest time to do that stuff. So here is what I have done so far. So I sneeze all over my stuff. So this is in the underarm, right here. I hope that you guys can see what I'm showing you. So here I made the holes and then I laced it with just laced it so that it would be together with just some green thread. I don't know if you guys can make that out. And that is on one side. So I did that on all of the eyelets that I made, and then I actually sewed the eyelet. This was the first one that I did, and this was the second one. The first one didn't come out nearly as good as the second one did. I did a much better job on the second one, which is not totally surprising. So that's that, and this is in the underarm seam. So I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on each side. So 12 there on this side, and then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I have 40 for the side. So it goes here, under here, and down here is a total of 40 plus the ones around the neck here. So these ones will probably be the last ones that I do because they are the most visible, and these ones are pretty visible too. And then I do also have to just put the little piece here, but this will be relatively easy. So there's like a little piece that just goes right over this as like a decoration, I guess. And then once I'm done with all of that, I will be doing the braiding, all of that stuff. So I think I might also top stitch around here before I do these, because it's not going to stay in place the way I want it to if I don't. And I might also move these over just like maybe a hair this way, simply because of the fact that this is really close to the edge and I don't want to accidentally make a hole in it. So it might get moved over about 1/4 of an inch on each side. But yeah, that's what I've been working on off camera. I started that the other day. I am not going to lie, I was completely terrified to make the holes in it because, you know, I worked so hard on this and I didn't want to mess up making the holes in the arms, so I decided to do it in a place that it wouldn't be seen if I messed it up, which was why I started in the underarm. But I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out so far. I just have tons and tons of hand sewing to do with that, so that will all probably be off camera. I might take some pictures for like the final reveal of like in progress, but it's a lot, and I don't think anybody would want to watch all of that. So that's my progress with the tunic. The chainmail shirt is pretty much done. I'm unsure if I'm going to go back and remove the stitching that I made with on the hem there, and replace it with like a double row of like stitching. I don't know. Like that. I'm unsure. I have a double needle, and then you put a second thing of thread up here, and then you thread here, and then it will just do like a double row of stitching, kind of like how you have on some of these shirts, but the back won't look as nice because it's just on a regular sewing machine as opposed to like on a cover stitch machine. I don't have a cover stitch machine, and I'm not spending the money to get one. So I'm unsure if I'm going to do that. It might look a little bit better and stretch a little bit better than what I did before, which was just the hand stitching. That would probably be one of the last things that I do if I do it, because I'm overwhelmed by this list here. So with that being said, I have threaded my machine. I cleaned my machine and I threaded my machine with this green thread here. I mean, brown thread here. And I'm going to start working on the boot covers right now for today, and hopefully get some of that stuff done and the armbands. Though I am going to have to change the design slightly of the armbands, because when I was playing the game the other day, I did notice that there's lacing on the armbands, so I might just have to modify that just ever so slightly. So here is all my pre-cut pieces of the boot covers and the armbands, and I did have, excuse me, I did have a front and a back bottom pieces, but I don't know if I'm going to do that, because I think what I might just do is put like a band of elastic underneath on the front to go like under the arch of the like underneath the arch of the boot to hold it in place. I don't like the idea of it being completely enclosed, because anything that I sew there will just completely get torn up and destroyed when he's walking, and I don't want to put in the effort to make something that's just going to get destroyed. So with that being said, I am going to attempt to make these boot covers, and we shall see. I mean, obviously there's no directions. I just have to put them together as best I can, remember, and hope for the best. I made registration marks, so hopefully that will help me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them out how they would be on the boots so that I can put them together. Why is that? I think, oh, like that. Okay. So these two go together. I have 2 registration marks here, but what does that one go to? I don't know. Oh, that's the other way. Okay, so it's like this. It says left, top foot left I put, but this is actually not the top foot left and the top foot right. I don't know the heck I did here. So I think this is how it goes, and then it gets attached to here, and then these two back ones I'll figure out later. This is the fold over piece because he has like a little fold over piece. So it's always fun when you're trying to figure out what you did when you were creating a pattern. This is my first time ever doing like a duct tape pattern type of situation, and hopefully it works out because not gonna lie, I don't exactly know what I'm doing here. So oh, I didn't transfer the registration marks on here. That is amazing. I just took the paper off and didn't even make sure that I cut the registration marks into the fabric, which I did not, and that would be tragic. And this is a stretch material, so I changed my needle to a stretch needle on the machine, and I'm going to use like a stretch stitch for sewing it. No, that is the top right. This is the top left. That's right. Okay, because it's as worn, not as you're looking at it. I forgot. But obviously on the other foot, it will be the opposite. It will be right, left. It's not confusing at all. Okay, I need my pen or chalk. Maybe I'll just use chalk. Okay, so I'm going to join these two together first. Which was what I was in the process of doing before I realized I didn't cut the little notches in it. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Put them together. Okay. Okay, so my stretch stitches look like lightning bolts. Now I have to find it on this machine because this machine is completely different from what I used before. Huh. I mean, I could just use a regular stretch stitch, like a regular zigzag stitch, but I don't like those. I might just have no choice. Not this one. I need to go to the vertical one. Okay. Let me see. Does that look like? No, that's not the stitch. I think I'm just going to go with a regular zigzag stitch because I don't see the actual stretch stitch on here. So I'm just going to go with a regular zigzag stitch and we'll see how that does. And I don't have a walking foot for this machine yet, so we will see how it does. Okay, so this is my first seam. Yay! It's stretched out just a little, but I think it'll be okay. All right, so let's do the other one. The fabric kind of sticks to itself really easily because it is like a faux suede. So it sticks to itself pretty easily and it's quite hard to keep it completely lined up. And I don't think that my seam lines are perfect anyway. We shall see. At this point, I'm not interested in perfection. I just want it to look good enough. If there's issues and I need to fix them after the con, I will address it then. I think I might have bit off more than I can chew, but everything always takes way longer than you think it will. Okay, I'm going to turn my iron on real quick. Because I'm not finishing these seams. This is a stretch fabric. It does not fray at all. Like, not at all. It's not fraying. So I'm not going to finish the seams on this. I'm just going to leave them raw. Okay, so goes like this. This is the bottom. This is the bottom. So they are opposites. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I put them together correctly because you never know. So like they're mirror images of each other right now. And then this one has a dart in it to close up the toe area. So I am going to quickly sew that with just a straight stitch. This chalk doesn't show up very good on here, but oh, I literally did that on the wrong side. I can't do that, stupid. I'm trying to sew the dart the wrong way. That would be very bad. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to switch back to a straight stitch to sew this quick dart. I have to remember not to cut the end of it because I'm so used to doing that, and tie it in a knot instead. I haven't sewn darts in a while, actually. Okay. Okay, and so now I'm just matching up my notches here. It's hard to see because I just made little slits in the fabric. I didn't actually make notches. But I'm just matching up those notches and pinning these pieces together. This fabric doesn't iron very well because it's a synthetic, I think. I don't know. Sometimes polyester, I'm afraid to iron it too much because I don't want to like melt it, you know? So for the most part, everything is lining up. We shall see how it does when I actually sew it together. So now I'm just going to stitch across the front here, and this will create the top part of the foot here. And this is, again, going to be another zigzag stitch. Just trying to line everything up as well as I can. Cat. Hold on a second, guys. Cuddles, what are you doing? And this sewing machine does such a better job than my other sewing machine, than my brother's sewing machine. I mean, my brother's sewing machine, it it's okay, but this one doesn't stretch out the fabric like that one does when I'm using stretch. I mean, it's just a little bit, but I think it would be better if I had the walking foot, but they're expensive and I haven't resigned myself to spending the money on it yet. So there's the top of the foot. See, it doesn't want to stay open, the seam allowances. And I think that has to do with the fact that it doesn't stay flat because of the type of stitching that I used, because it's a zigzag stitch. I don't like to lay flat. I mean, I can always go in and like hand sew it so that it will stay flat, like just a little bit of a slip stitch, and I may or may not decide to do that. I don't really know. All right, let me do the other side. And so I'm not going to be on super long today because I do want to get off so I can watch Summer Games Fest. I think Xbox has their thing today. So I'm curious to see what kind of games they're coming out with because it's the new CEO. So we shall see how that goes. So yeah, I'm probably going to get off around 11:30, 12 o'clock. But we're going to get as much done until then as we possibly can. And I will probably be back on again tomorrow because I still have so much to do for this cosplay that I really need to just be doing it, even if I don't want to be live. I have a very bad habit of putting my hand back here to guide it. I'm not pulling on it or anything, but I have a very bad habit of doing that, and I'm trying to break that habit because I think sometimes I do pull on it, and it appears that I might be pulling on it too, and that's not a good thing to do. You shouldn't be pulling the fabric unless you're doing it on purpose, and sometimes you can do it on purpose, like if you're stretching out a seam, like with the Magic Pants where it was having me stretch out the seam. I was doing that. Though with my other machine, it was much easier. I made a pair of Magic Pants for my mom on this machine, and I had a hard time pulling on it. I felt like I was messing the machine up. So I was pulling like this, because it tells you to pull the, when you sew the crotch seam, it tells you to pull on it. I found to be a little bit weird, but it ended up working out. I mean, they both came out really good. My mom, she wanted hers a little bit less wide-legged than mine, and I didn't record that because I had already made the pants. But yeah, she wanted hers to be a little bit less wide-legged than mine, so I took some of that out, and the crotch was a little bit low on hers, so I had to take some of the crotch seam out. So yeah, hers was a little bit more work than mine was, because mine actually fit almost perfectly when I tried them on. I just had to adjust the length. Everything else was fine. Okay, so now we have the top of the foot done. It's not the, yeah, the seam's not staying open. Whatever. On neither side will it stay open. It's pissing me off. So now this is the front and the back of the leg. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the front of the leg on. Or maybe I should do, I think I should do the front first. And then we'll assemble the back and then we'll put them together. So let me make sure I have all of my registration marks cut, which I do not. I guess I just cut it out when I made it before and I didn't cut any of the registration marks into it, which is kind of weird, but you know. Okay. So all right. This one is this one. So I don't actually know if you guys can see, but you see here I have two little slits in here. And that's how I can tell that this one goes here because this one has two little slits in it too. So I'm going to line these ones up. Here. And I think this one, yeah, this one here is the center seam. So I put a little slit in it so that I can match it up with the seam line here, which was smart of me. I didn't realize I did that. Must have been having a hard time figuring out how it went on when I was making the mock-up, and that's why I did it, because I would not say that generally I would have known to do that otherwise. Okay, so that's that one, and then this one is going to be this side. When I did first put it together, when I was doing the mock-up, I had so much trouble figuring out which registration marks were matching up with which one. And so for that reason, I made a bunch of double registration marks on some of them so that it was easier when I was actually doing the actual garment. And it makes a huge difference. I would say if you're going to make yourself a duct tape pattern, do make sure you make good registration marks and make the registration marks slightly different for you know, so that you can tell the difference. So like in the center seam, I did 2, and then on the like front here for the front of the leg, I have one side that has 2 and the other side has 1, and then there's the center seam that has just 1, so I can more easily figure out how it's supposed to go together, because the first time I am not 100% sure I put it together right. So we will see how well I did this time. I probably go get his boot real quick in just a couple minutes after I sew these seams, just to see how it's going to sit over the top. But I'm going to sew all of these seams really quickly first, and we shall see how that looks. I'm super excited for this to be done because this has caused me a lot of anxiety. This and the armbands actually in the game, when I was playing it before, had lacing. I don't know if it's lacing here or lacing here. I have to go back and play the game again and see if I can like take a picture of it. And so I have to incorporate that into my design somehow, which I've been thinking about how to do it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I can just like add some fabric, like fold over on one of the seams and add some fabric there and then sew to that and then make like fake lacing. And I think that will serve the purpose. And then I have plenty of yarn to make finger loop braiding out of for all of the lacing. I have white, I have black. I just don't have brown, but I don't think I need any brown. And I do have green that matches, which is the color that I'm going to use for, obviously, the tunic. And I already made some and tested it out. I just don't know where it is. I don't remember if I showed you guys what it looked like before. It's very simple. It's like a medieval braiding method to make like ties or rope, or you can make things much more complicated, but I just did 5 loops, I think, and that actually is big enough and small enough for most of the things that I needed for this project. So you can make it more intricate, you can put designs in there, you can definitely make it bigger, but I had no desire to make things any more complicated for myself than I already did. So I just decided to go with a simple 5 loop design, and there are plenty of tutorials on YouTube showing you how to do it. I think I used a tutorial from Morgan Donner. Sorry, like that doesn't sound right. Morgan Donner. She has a good tutorial for it. Actually, I think she has more than one, but I used the one where it was like a hands down method because I think that's a little bit easier for someone who doesn't really know what they're doing. And I've done it before on like a medieval dress that I made, but it ended up being too thick simply because when I made the eyelets in that, I did not make holes in it in the fabric. I just used an awl, and I wasn't real good about like making sure that I was stretching it enough to get all of the fabric out of the way, so the holes didn't come out big enough, so that's why that piece didn't fit properly. But it wasn't because I didn't make it right. I made it right, and it looked really good. It just would not fit through the holes because I didn't make the holes big enough. I won't have that problem here because I'm actually making holes in the fabric and then sewing the eyelets. I was unsure if that's exactly what I wanted to do, but I know that in the past when I did that project, which was before I started my YouTube channel, I made that dress and I did that. I made the holes with the actual awl and sewed them. It didn't come out as big. Like the holes weren't as big as I needed for them to be. So I decided to do it with like actually making holes instead this time. So, okay. So this is the front of the boot, the top part of the front of the boot. Maybe I should go get the boot. Let me sew this one and then we'll go get the boot and see how it fits over the top of it, because this actually looks a little bit small. My boyfriend's like a size 13, so we want to make sure this fits. I mean, it is stretchy fabric, so it will stretch a little bit over the top of it, so I think it should be fine, but I'm going to go get the boot after I sew this one to see how it fits over it. You know, that would be just my luck if it's either too big or too small. With this project, that's the problem that I've been having, is for mostly everything has just been too big. And I'm really not looking forward to fixing the pants because I top stitched everything and felled all those seams down, and now I have to rip all of that out, and that it's not going to be fun. Okay, so that's done. I'm gonna go run and grab the boot and bring it up here and see how it looks on it. So I will be right back. Okay. Oh. Okay, here's the boot. It's over here. Here's the boot. Oh, okay. So it seems like it's gonna fit. Let's hope. Okay. Let's do the back pieces. Here's. Let me throw these back in this container that I have them in. I'm trying to be a little bit more organized, but sometimes it's not working out too well for me. Okay. So this, I'm like bending over really badly and it hurts. I do think that everything went together much better this time than it did when I was making the mock-up. And I think a lot of that also has to do with the fact that I was using fabric for the mock-up that had no discernible right side of it. So I couldn't tell how I was supposed to put it together once I took it off of the pattern piece. I was like, oh my God, I don't have this in the way that I need it to be, you know? So that makes a huge difference. So like obviously with this, there's really only one way I can put it together because there's a right side and a wrong side. And I can tell the difference. And the registration marks are helping. I did make better registration marks on this than I did on the mock-up. All right, so let's put these two pieces together. See, it just does not stay. I think most of that is because of the fact that it's a zigzag stitch and it just stands up a little bit more, like it's more like raised than like a straight stitch where you can get like the two sides to lay flat. This one has a weird shape to it. Oh, fudge. All right, so the camera turned off because it's saying it's a high temperature thing. So I'll have to turn it back on in a few minutes. I think I've had it on for too long anyway. And I have a fan blowing directly on it, but it doesn't seem to be making a difference this time. I do have a camera fan. Maybe I'll just throw that on there real quick too. The only problem is that thing dies relatively quickly. I have to have it plugged in order for it to not die. open up one of my cords. I bought a whole bunch of new cords so that I would have, well, not a whole bunch. I bought like 2 new cords so that I would have enough cords for when I'm streaming. They're like USB-C. Everything is USB-C now. So it's a USB-C to USB-C. So it will hook to almost everything that I use anyway. But I was having to steal cords from other things before, so this works better. I'm gonna have to change the battery on this camera too. I think the battery might be dying as well. Let me do that really fast before I hook a whole bunch of stuff up here. Even though it's plugged into my computer, it doesn't charge it as fast as I would like for it to. So the other camera that I use that one all the time. This one over here, I use that one all the time, and it has like a thing on it that helps hold it and helps so that I don't have to take the whatever this thing is called to mount it to the tripod. I won't have to take it off every time I want to change the battery out. But this one isn't one that I use all the time, so I have to take the thing off. I need to buy another one. Okay, that's better. Now I just have to unfreeze it. Which one is it? No, not that one. This one. Oh, it's not plugged in. Okay, I can't activate it if it's not plugged in, silly. Okay. Oh, why is it like that? These are backwards. I guess we're just gonna leave it. I actually usually like this one to be the bigger one, this one here to be the bigger one, but he put it backwards this time, and I don't know how to fix it. So we're just gonna leave it. It's fine. All right, so now I'm just gonna try and figure out how this goes. One. right heel, left heels. I think it goes like this. And so I think when I made these registration marks, I didn't fix the ones on here, so it's not lining up properly. And I don't recall. This is this way. No, this is this way. This way. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's like dips and stuff here. I think this goes to one of these pieces over here. I think that's why I'm confused. I think this goes in the middle here. No, not fitting. Ah. And I don't remember how I put it together the last time. I guess we're just going to put it together and see what happens. And hopefully it works out. All right, I'm gonna sew this together and see how it looks because I don't think I'm doing it right, but we'll see what happens. The shapes on it are just weird, and that's part of the reason why I'm a little bit confused. So I think today is also my channel's 1-year anniversary, which is amazing to me that I've been doing this for a year now. Yeah, exciting, I guess. I mean, I'm still not monetized or anything. I have quite a ways to go before I get there, but I guess it was in June that I started. Interesting. I'm fully anticipating having to rip some of these seams out, so we shall see what happens. Let's see. The true test is here. Let's see if it goes around the shoe. Oh no, that's not supposed to be like that. Or was it the other side? Oh, God. I actually think maybe I might be better off if I try to figure out how this is supposed to go on here first. I know it's supposed to connect to one of these, but there's no registration marks on any of them. You gotta love it when you can't figure it out, huh? This one or this one. This is the bottom part of the foot. Maybe it was like that. Let me see. I think that's it. I think so. I sewed that piece on wrong. So I think this is how it's supposed to go on here. This piece is weird because of how I did this part. Not sure if this is the right foot or not. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to think on this. I know that this is on here wrong. Where's my seam ripper? Where is my seam ripper? You know, everything has its place. Sometimes when I put things away, I can't find them no matter what. Where did I put my seam ripper? I don't even know when I had it last. That's always good. I guess that's the story of my life, is I can't ever find anything. Okay. Well, I don't know where it is, so I'm gonna... Cuddles, be quiet. I'm probably gonna come back on again later. I'm gonna rip the seam out and try to figure out what I'm doing wrong and how to fix it to get these pieces to go together. In the meantime, it is like 11:30, so I am going to come back on later and hopefully have this finished today, and then I will work on the bracers and try to, or not bracers, the armbands, and try to figure out what I'm going to do with those. So I will be back on a couple hours later. I don't know what time the Summer Games Fest thing ends, but I'll be back on after that. I will see you guys then.